Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. It's just past 2, so welcome everybody to Southwest Missouri Scores Tuesdays at 2 webinar series. We have today microlending, accessing capital when the bank says no. Just a few details about today's workshop. We would love for you to introduce yourself in the chat if you could, if you're comfortable with it, just to use Krishin's expression. Tell us who you are, where you're from, maybe why you're here if you'd like to. This webinar will last about 1 hour. There will be time for questions at the end. We may have time for questions throughout as well. So just go ahead and ask those questions to the chat or the Q&A throughout as you come up with them. All of our registrants will receive an email within about a week of the event that includes a recording of the event. We don't have handouts for this one, so it won't be any of those. And you'll also receive an evaluation email from SCORE. So if you notice that email, we'd love for you to fill it out. That helps us to plan future workshops. Let's go ahead and get started. So my name is Katie Pattison. I am the workshop chair for Southwest Missouri SCORE, and I also happen to work for our partner today, the Springfield Greene County Library. The library offers a number of resources for your business, including market and consumer research databases, demographics databases, meeting and co-working spaces. We have a maker space, and of course, books, audiobooks, all that kind of stuff. If you are not from the Springfield, Missouri area, your library probably also offers some business resources. So do check that out. It's one of maybe a really best kept secret that could really help your business. So you can see ours at thelibrary.org/business. And now I'm going to tell you a little bit about SCORE. So SCORE is a nationwide nonprofit that is there for you for the life of your business. We have mentoring and resources to support you from idea to exit. There are 3 ways we want you to remember that SCORE can help you. That is by providing free business advice and mentoring. You can request a free SCORE mentor at score.org. And you have access both to your local mentors or mentors nationwide if you have a sort of specialty need. We also offer low or no cost business training, just like this event you're in today. There are SCORE chapters across the US also offering live workshops. There are lots of recorded workshops, on-demand courses, all of that you can find on the SCORE website at score.org. And I'll plug score.org again. There are lots of free business templates and resources on that website. It's an amazing resource. We send people here at the library, we send people to it all the time. So definitely check it out if you have not. Just a plug for some upcoming workshops. Our next one here in Southwest Missouri is called Developing Your Brand Strategy with Nicholas Carita. Nicholas is an amazing marketing mind. He'll be here at the Schweitzer Brentwood Library in Springfield at 6 p.m. on the 21st. You can also attend that virtually if you would like. And then we have a special event coming up, the impact of the entrepreneurial mindset then and now with speaker Clifton Talbert. He's a business consultant, speaker, and author of 13 books based out of Oklahoma. He will be here in Springfield at the E-Factory at 1 p.m. on the 27th of September. We're presenting that in partnership with a bunch of different organizations, SBDC, the E-Factory, SCORE, our Multicultural Business Association, and the library are all bringing this to you. And another one we are super excited about is our 2022 SCORE E3 Women's Conference. Yes, Mary's. It is happening September 13th and 14th at the Oasis Hotel and Convention Center. It's $119 for 2 days, amazing keynote speakers, amazing sessions, really like $119 is like the price of the food, basically, that you'll be getting there. And you'll get all that bonus content. So definitely join us at that conference. It's a great information and just great energy at the conference. Everything that SCORE does is made possible through the efforts of our volunteers nationwide. We have over 10,000 volunteers serving clients in over 1,500 communities. If you are interested in becoming a SCORE volunteer, making a difference in your community and engaging with your business community, you can reach out to me in the chat. You can reach out to Mary Overbey there in the chat. Either of us would be happy to talk to you about how much fun it is to be a SCORE volunteer. Here's that info one more time, score.org/volunteer if you're interested in volunteering, or our local chapter website where you can see all our upcoming workshops at swmissouri.score.org. These are our panelists today. I'm actually going to turn it over to Krishin Thadani. Krishin is the Outreach and Marketing Specialist for the U.S. Small Business Administration, the branch office here in Springfield. Krishin, welcome. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you for the welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Mary, do you want to tell us where the women's conference is?
I'm going to let Katie, because she's the SCORE rep here today.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Where it is? Yes, it is here in Springfield, Missouri on September 13th and 14th at the Oasis Hotel and Convention Center. And you can find the information to register at e3score.org. e3score.org.
Very good. Thank you for the question. I didn't see who it was from. I just saw the question, and thank you for answering. My name is Krishin Thadani. I work with the Small Business Administration. The Small Business Administration, I work here in Springfield. I'm the only representative of the Small Business Administration here in Springfield. I do a lot of work with lenders. I answer a lot of questions over the phone, as you can imagine, and I do events like this during the day. A lot of the questions I get when I'm answering the phone are about microlending or how to start a business, and SCORE has a lot of resources to do that. Today, we've gathered some microlenders that actually lend money in our community, and they are here to answer your questions, introduce themselves, and feel free to reach out to any of us with any questions that you may have. With that, all of the lenders that we're going to talk to today have a relationship with the SBA. They're all SBA-approved microlenders. I'm going to let Mary further introduce the concept of microlending, and then she's going to bring it back to me, and I'm going to introduce the microlenders to you. Mary, take it away.
Thank you so much, Krishin. And I don't know if you guys saw what I put in the chat box, but Krishin rocks. So let's give a shout out to our local SBA representative. If you're down here in Southwest Missouri, you know that our SBA office down here has been phenomenal. He came in during COVID and fielded a million and 5 conversations, and he's still doing that. And we just really thank him. Number one, for the important
Paper over your microphone, Mary.
All right, guys, I'm going to try to not do this. He's really showcased microlenders since he's been here, and we're very, very appreciative of that. And I apologize, I apparently make people nauseous. I'm trying to get it to where I don't cover my microphone for you guys so that you can hear my information. But just a huge shout out to Krishin, and a thank you for really promoting microlending, because it is such an important component of our ecosystem here. And we're just really happy that he's been able to give that information and start helping us promote it. If you're not aware, if you're a lender on this call today, we've been doing regular lender presentations as a group, all of us microlenders going out to different communities and talking about microlending and how it can help you as a lender or as a business owner. If you're interested in that, please do contact Krishin. You will see this same presentation, but the wording will be different because we'll talk about it differently. But today we're going to talk directly to you small business owners and what microlending is. And then, like as Katie and Krishin mentioned, we're going to get into a more in-depth conversation with each of our microlenders here today, because we're all different. And we'll talk about that more. So we are going to be talking specifically about Southwest Missouri. However, the majority of us on here today do cover beyond Southwest Missouri. We've got people who cover Arkansas. We've got people who cover, statewide, Missouri into Kansas. And then when you look at SBA approved microlenders, they are nationwide. So if you're not here with us today in Southwest Missouri, this conversation is not just for Southwest Missouri. It is nationwide, statewide, and we appreciate you being on here to learn more about how you can help your business or others in your community. So a microlender is a resource. It is a resource that is, as we mentioned, approved by the SBA. There are microlenders that are not, that have local dollars. But the 4 that you're going to talk to today are all here on the right side: Forge, New Growth Capital, Alt Cap, and Justine Petersen. I am a Justine Petersen representative. I'm not an employee, I'm a business owner, but I do the loan officer work for them here in Southern Missouri. As a micro lender, we are a resource that supports the ecosystem of business, small business especially. That's our focal point. We all look at banks. As you can see on this slide, we have clients that are the key. Businesses, small businesses are the backbone to our local economies, especially if you're in rural areas. But it is a resource that our communities just cannot go without. And the first step for business owners is the bank, traditional lending. What we do as micro lenders is we work with the people that banks cannot help. And we'll go over the variety of reasons that banks may not be able to help, but also just how we fit into that. But just know that when we're talking to you today, the center of what we believe to be the business ecosystem and community, and how to create a thriving economy for your community, for your business, is a traditional lender. And everything we do is to get you back to that traditional bank. You'll see resource providers over there on the left side of your screen. New Growth is New Growth Capital. You'll see both places. They do have a women's business center that is a SBA approved resource center. All of these are free resources. We work with places like SCORE with Katie and with the SBDCs, and we're regularly doing referrals back and forth to make sure that you as a business owner are prepared for lending in whatever form that may be, if it's at a traditional bank or if you need to come to us as a micro lender. So all of us together really work as a collaborative team and send people back and forth so that we can make sure that you get the best assistance at the lowest cost. We are all low cost, no cost resources possible. Micro lenders are a little bit different than banks. Typically, and I apologize, got something in my eyelashes that it's like messy. Anyway, I'm good, guys. If you have not met me, you know that I'm random, so I do apologize on that. Microlenders are a little bit different when it comes to lending and the way we're able to lend than banks are. If you go to a bank, traditional bank, Commerce, US Bank, Oak Star, Bank of Missouri, wherever you bank at, you go in and you talk to the business lender there. They typically have a few resources that they can lend to you from. They may be an SBA approved lender or a preferred lender. They may have a commercial loan fund that they can pull out of that's not associated with the SBA. They may have special funds that are available, 504 SBA funds. But either way, those funds are going to be going through the bank underwriting process and potentially additional underwriting processes. Within micro lenders, we a lot of times have our underwriting is in-house. So with Justine Petersen, our underwriters are our senior loan officers, our CFO. You'll see Mark Nelson on here. He's not only the loan officer, he's also the underwriter. Sometimes we have a board set up as our underwriters, but it gives us a lot more leeway and we get our funding from different sources. Additionally, if you go into a bank and you're applying for an SBA loan, let's say, they're still getting that funding that comes down from the SBA, and the SBA is doing what's called a guarantee because this loan is worthy and they're backing that. And they're going to say, we'll provide 80% of the backing on that, and then the bank has to provide 20. Within a micro lender, what we do annually is we apply for grant funds from the SBA. And those grant funds, we go in and we say, okay, we are working with high risk business owners that are not bank lendable. And so therefore, we want a certain amount of money every year so that we can dole out to get those business owners in business or get them the funds that they need because they can't get it from the bank. And so we have more leeway a lot of times, just to be able to get that funding out. A lot of micro lenders have maybe donors or revolving loan funds at the local level. And each micro lender is going to be different because we have these funds, we are able to declare how we want to get them out. We get to declare more so of what credit level are we going to work with? What's our target populations? We have a lot more leeway than a traditional bank does. And that's how we're able to help the banks and the small business owners. I mentioned that a micro lender's role is 100% to work with non-bankable clients. Or I say this, non-bankable clients, or we're there to support the bank as well. And I need to add that in. But there's a lot of different reasons that maybe a bank won't be able to lend to you. A lot of them will have credit requirements. Maybe it's 680, maybe it's 720, maybe it's 640, but they still have that limit that their underwriting team says below that, we're not going to lend to them no matter what. Doesn't matter how long their business has been going, what their profit level is, that's our cutoff line. Micro lenders are able to step in and help those people with lower credit. And one of our goals is to get people back to bankable. And so a lot of times we're working with people who maybe have a 620 credit level and they need another installment account, or they need to pay off some collections, or they need to reduce their credit utilization ratio. Micro lenders are able to come in at that point, work with you as a business owner, and really help get you back to that bankable level. Additionally, we work with people who have collateral issues. We deal with collateral differently. Banks sometimes are looking at maybe a percentage of the value of the collateral, and maybe they can only take an 80% value, or maybe they can't take business assets, or business assets are 50% of the value. That is where micro lenders are able to step in. Sometimes what we're doing is helping you purchase that collateral that then you can take to the bank and refinance that, so that you have the collateral you need to get that bank loan. That may be a vehicle, it may be equipment, it may be whatever. But just know that within the micro lender component, we are able to be a little bit more flexible, because oftentimes as a startup business, or as a service-based business, or as a business that's in retail that doesn't have a lot of that hardcore collateral, we work with a lot of people who don't own homes, who don't have vehicles that are paid off. And we try to be very flexible about how we are able to assist them to get them that loan to go where they need to go. I've heard a lot of stories about taking art collections or antique guns and keeping them at the office. And I will say that anytime anybody brings me unique collateral, I'm always like, ooh, I hope you default so I get it, but I really don't. So Christian's like, no, Mary, no. Time in business is a big one. A lot of traditional banks are not able to lend to you until you can show P&Ls, your profit and loss. They want to see cash flow. They have to see cash flow. So micro lenders a lot of times are coming in and we're saying, let's get you started. We want you to talk to your lender. Do you need 6 months of P&Ls? Do you need 2 years of P&Ls? What do you need? Let's get you funded for that time period and then refinance at that bank, but let's get you going. And that's nothing on the lender. I get so many clients who are like, I'm just not in business long enough. And it's like, well, yeah, that's why we exist as micro lenders. The other big thing we get is amount of loan request. Lenders typically have a minimum loan amount. And now there are some lenders out there that have micro loan funds available. Bank of Branson is a really great, example of that. I know that Oak Star in rural communities has a great microlending fund. There's a lot of them that are out there, and it depends on your community. It depends on your bank and what they have available. But some of them say the underwriting department says 80,000 bottom line. And the reason for that is because it costs the same amount technically to underwrite a $5,000 loan as it does a $500,000 loan. And for their lender's time, it's just not worth it. So that's where people like us as microlenders come in. You may only need $5,000 right now to get your business started, but in 3 years, we still want you to build that relationship because maybe it's time to expand. And so we're getting you to the point where you need a traditional lender's funding. But until you do, when you just need that small loan payment amount, or you just need $5,000 to get inventory, that's where we're able to come in and help you out. Criminal records is another one, especially with SBA lending. There are restrictions on criminal records, especially if you are on probation currently or on parole, any of those kind of things. The microlenders, so New Growth, for example, is actually working specifically on obtaining funding for reentry business owners, people who are reentering society coming from, from incarceration. They haven't obtained that yet, but that is one of their goals. So they're still going to be looking at you as a business lender a little bit differently than a traditional lender would. Mark Nelson with Forge, boy, he's from Arkansas. He don't care what's wrong with your record. He's not going to ask. Mark, nod and say he says no. All right, they are. But the bottom line is we do all have different requirements because we're not going through the SBA. It's a grant fund. We are allowed to make our own limitations on that. While we still have to abide by some SBA guidelines, we do have that flexibility. The other thing is down payment. A lot of people are able to get a bank loan, but they're having issues with coming up with that down payment, that earnest money, and banks need that. They want to see that. So a lot of time microlenders are able to come in and support the bank. AltCap has a great program where they're coming in and they're saying, if the bank approves you, we'll approve your earnest money. And you can come in and they lend up to $100,000 at great interest rates. And John will talk about that more here in a little bit. But a lot of times we're supporting the bank and getting people into that bank loan just with that down payment. And then working to eventually you can refinance that at the better interest rate. We're really working on keeping business owners away from depleting your current assets, 401ks, saving accounts. A lot of business owners that we work with are in year 2 or 3, and we hear them talking and they're like, you know what? We didn't want to start off with any debt. So we used all of our savings, or we pulled out our 401k account, but now we need this new equipment, or we want to expand because our business has grown and we have nothing. And we can't get a traditional loan, or we've used all of our credit cards and our credit cards are maxed out. This is where microlenders really want to help you. We want you to know that there is a resource that's out there to where you can keep those assets, keep your credit good, and then when you get to the bank, you still have those to use as potential collateral. And that's really what we're hoping for. We're also trying to keep people away from predatory lending sources. And like I said, maxing out your credit cards. There is no better way, aside from late payments, to completely annihilate your credit other than maxing out your credit cards or having no credit. You do that and it tanks, and then you can't get a bank loan. So a lot of times we're helping pay off predatory loans. So maybe somebody went to an online lender who was able to get them a loan in 2 days, and we need that money, but it's at 45% interest rate, or it's a square loan and you are paying back every single day that you're taking transactions, you're paying back a percentage, and your cash flow is just gone. We're really trying to help business owners who are in that situation to get them into a better cash flow position so they can be financially stable. 100%. This is probably my favorite loan to do, is to get people into a better credit and financial position. If you come to me with that, I love it. And I know a lot of us do on here. And then the other thing we're trying to do is we are trying to help increase your credit. So most of our loans will come in as an installment account on your personal credit, which helps your credit, especially the longer you pay it. As I mentioned, two of us, Justine PETERSEN, who I'm with, and New Growth, and then also AltCap and Forge, but specifically is we have a credit building component installed into our programs because we're really focusing on that credit building and how to help you guys get your business started, but also get into a better financial position. The reason we have all the microlenders on here today is because it's very, very important to know all of us. We're all different. We all have different areas of focus. I've spoken a little bit about that today. We have different geographic areas that we serve. Some just have certain counties, some are statewide. But knowing who services your county is super important so that you know what options you have. We all have different requirements, what we're going to talk about. We all have different niche funding areas. If you go to Mark Nelson with Forge with the food truck, he's probably going to fund you because apparently he just likes to eat at food trucks. So he tries to fund them all. I just went down to Bentonville, Arkansas, and I've never seen so many food trucks in my life. And I was like, oh my God, it's Forge. But if you were a transportation and a driver, a CDL, he's not going to take you because he doesn't like you as well as he likes food trucks. You can't feed him. So, but we all have these different areas that we really fund more, and then others we don't. And then we all have different terms, which you'll see here in a minute as well. So I want to wrap up with just a reminder that as microlenders, our focus is really on helping you as a whole for your business. We're doing those referrals out. We're doing referrals to lenders. If you are bank lendable, we're going to tell you you're bank lendable, and we're going to send you to bank contacts because we want the best to happen for you as your business. Bottom line. If you need assistance, we're going to send you to our local resource partners like SCORE and the SBDC and WBCs because we want you to be super prepared. With that, I'm going to turn it back. I just want to finish on that because now you're going to get to meet the microlenders and you're going to really get a better idea of all of us and sort of the differences and how we all work together. There's a reason we're all here. So Krishin, I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute and let you do your thing.
So thank you, Mary. Very good presentation, very thorough. And you kind of introduced all of our panelists today already. I'm going to do that. I just wanted to make one more distinction. Microlenders are typically not-for-profit. Microlenders are not-for-profit institutions where your bank is a for-profit enterprise. Some of the not-for-profit institutions have a mission-driven mission, like Mary was saying. They want to do returning citizens. They want to do this. They want to. So if those types of missions can facilitate getting your loan over a traditional lender. However, a traditional lender oftentimes will be able to help you grow your business in stage 2, stage 3. So the microlender, because they're a microlender only, they do not require you to move your bank accounts or your deposits to their organization. You can maintain that contact with the commercial lender, and over time, hopefully you can get with the microlender, get your business rolling to a place where the bank goes from no to yes, and that is the ultimate goal of microlending. Today we have, first we have John. I'm going to introduce John Teasdale, Senior Business Development Officer with AltCap. Can you make this fit all on one screen? Thank you. Very good. Patty Cantrell, who's Director of Outreach and Development with New Growth Capital. Mark Nelson, Director of Lending, and Mary Overbey, Chief Innovator of Borealis Consulting, Rural and Southern Missouri Outreach Officer for Justine PETERSEN. So I'm going to, with no further ado, turn it over to Patty, who's going to talk to you about New Growth. Patty, take it away. What's new at New Growth?
Thanks, Krishin, and great to see everyone, or not see you, but have you on the call. Yeah, again, just to summarize, what we are all up to is helping entrepreneurs that have the skills and a determination to make it, but cannot get traditional bank lending because of lack of credit history or lack of business track record. And so that's what we're after. We're going to help you get that credit history, help you get that business track record. And our mission at New Growth is rural revitalization. So that's where we're focused. And currently we're the new kid on the block, and we're the smallest one, but we're growing to serve rural communities across the state. Right now, we are focused in counties above Springfield, all the way to Lake of the Ozarks, up towards southern Kansas City, and just over into Kansas as well. Our mission, again, rural revitalization, we work with any borrower, no credit score required, and take you from where you are to where you need to be. That might be getting your business plan together. Our New Growth Women's Business Center has counselors around that. It might be getting a small loan to help you start building your credit, and then we give you a step-up loan. Our rates range across the board from 4 to 12%, but SBA loans would be in the 6 to 9% area. It really depends because we take a good look at how risky you are, but also be really, really flexible on collateral and things like that, so that we can take you from where you are to where you need to be. Just real quickly on rural revitalization, we're seeing some amazing things happen because there's so much demand and need, especially in our rural communities, for this work, because a lot of people, again, it's just that they can't get within the bank parameters. But we see this as keeping people in our region, attracting people to our region, and connecting people in our region. So keeping people in our region, there's young people that are seeing some business opportunity. We give them a loan for a skid steer for their tree trimming job, and the next thing you know, they're going to the bank for a bucket truck. That's the kind of thing that keeps our young people home. Also attracting people to live here, businesses that we need in our area for people to want to live in rural communities. Those are those businesses that we're really trying to focus on. And there's so many that are trying to get in business, and we want to help them out. Connecting people, there's some really great stories already in our initial lending. For example, one gym we started up in a small community is helping gyms that we're funding in other communities, and they're doing weightlifting competitions together. That's the kind of business to business and community building that we're seeing, and trying to help make it happen as boots on the ground in rural Missouri with microlending. So we look forward to talking with you. Who's next?
Very good, Patty. John, do you want to go next?
I'd be happy to. Yeah, thank you. AltCap is also relatively new in this organization. My name is John Teasdale, Senior Business Development Officer. AltCap is about a 17-year-old organization. Most of that history we had focused on the greater Kansas City metropolitan area. And then recently, as a result of COVID, we found that there might be some opportunities for us to expand our services and resources, particularly in Southwest Missouri. So we are in the process of really networking and just trying to get our name known as another microlending option. And Krishin and Mary and everyone have been very great in helping us do that. Now we are statewide in both Missouri and Kansas, and are accepting applications. We do have money to lend. Our rates were around Patty's as well, less than 9%, starting at 5% for us in that first year. I'm trying to think of what else. In terms of a rural business, that may not be as much of AltCap's kind of target mission and impact as it is Patty's. Our real mission is to support women-owned or veteran-owned or minority-owned businesses. Those are the communities that we really want to go above and beyond and make sure we're a resource when possible. And then in terms of industries, we're seeing all types. We've seen all the ones that Mary mentioned: food trucks, construction, a lot of transportation. Also see a lot of bars, restaurants, a lot of retails, tattoo parlors, hair salons. I mean, really, you name it. We're seeing a lot of daycares right now, as things I think are kind of starting to open up in COVID, and kids are going back to school. The younger kids need a place to go, so we're seeing a lot of daycares reaching out to us. So it's really all over the place in terms of types of industries that we can consider.
John, I want to point out that, like, I love, you guys have the graduated rate system, which none of the rest of us do. So you're starting off, you can go all the way up to, I have 150, but it's 100,000, right? Or is it 100?
It's 150.
Okay, so you can go all the way up to 150 at 5.5% interest rate. The second year on that is 6.5% interest rate. However, I remember you telling us that you do a lot of refinancing during that second year, so that it never even gets up to that 8.5. When we're looking at comparison to bank rates, which may be 4 to 6%, I mean, you guys are definitely the closest. Now, then you have a 3-year loan term, so the monthly payment may be higher, but for someone who's looking for a larger loan, Justine PETERSEN and All Cap, we do the 2 largest loan sizes, but yours is going to be an easier process at that size. And it's really designed to help people get what they need. And can you talk about your down payment component as well? Because I think that you guys do that a little bit differently than everybody else.
Yeah, it's technically, at least in my mind, but I'm kind of a sales guy. So I may not see it the same way as business owners. It's not so much a down payment. We just require a $25 application fee up front. That just helps us cover the cost of some of our, we use an online lending platform like many of the micro lenders does. It just kind of helps us absorb.
That's not what I meant, John. I meant that you like have a really good relationship with the lenders for assisting with down payments. Am I remembering that right?
Am
I making shit up?
You might be.
All right.
I'm not entirely sure.
All right, never mind, guys.
To.
Katie's gonna chastise me later, as will Krishin, for saying shit.
But we do, and I think you kind of alluded to it earlier, Mary. We'll also consider startups, groups who may not be revenue positive. In terms of the collateral for that piece, I agree with what Mary said. A lot of times we'll use that piece of equipment, that car. Patty had mentioned a kind of a landscaping truck. If any business owner is looking at a big piece of equipment, that often is a very good piece of collateral to use to help secure that loan.
Very good, very good. Next, we're going to hear from Mark Nelson. Mark, please tell us about Forge and your territory and some of the things you excel in.
Okay, Forge has been around for over 35 years now. We are located in Arkansas, as Mary likes to point out, but I am wearing shoes right now. I just wanted everybody to know that.
I'm not, Mark.
Yeah, and I'm not. I didn't wear my overalls today, but that's because I dressed up for the meeting. But anyway, but we do service Southwest Missouri. We're actually located in Huntsville, which is about 30 miles east of Fayetteville, if y'all are familiar with where we're at. So we're not very far. We're an hour from Branson, basically, is kind of where we're located. So but we can cover Missouri. We do not have anybody in Missouri working for us right now. We may change that in the future, but right now we don't have that. But anyway, We're not as big as, we don't do as big of loans as the other people. We type out at 50,000. We can go up to 7 years. It depends on what the collateral is, on how long a period of time we'll go. And our interest rate is 6.95%. So we're actually not too far above bank rates right now. Our closing costs are extremely low. We have a $35 membership fee, and that's a one-time fee. If you reborrow, you don't pay that fee ever again. And then the only fees we charge are what we are charged. If we file a UCC, you pay for that. Anyway, and Mary put on there that no real estate. We do very little amount of real estate, but we will do a little bit. But when you're up to 50,000, you're not going to get much real estate anyway. That's not our focus for sure. But we do all kinds of businesses. Most of our businesses come from bank referrals. When you go to the bank, a lot of times the loan officer doesn't want to tell you no. He wants to tell you, well, go check out these people. They maybe can help you. So that's where we get a lot of our business comes from, those bank referrals. So that's why everybody kind of likes you to start off at the bank first. If you haven't been to the SBDC, we strongly encourage you to go there first before you fill out a loan application with us, because you're a much better prepared borrower than you are if you don't do that. And they do wonderful work, and they're definitely worth your time. We feel like, anyway. We like to start our loan process. Actually, we like for you to call us and discuss your business before you apply, because we can maybe help you. Because like I tell everybody, you only get one chance to make a good impression on me. And so if you fill out that application right the first time, you got a lot better chance of getting approved than you do when we go back and forth for a month, because you can't get me what I want. And that's pretty much Forge in a nutshell.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Last, we got Mary. Mary, we're running a little short on time, so please be cognizant.
I will, you know what, do you have your sign for me today, Krishin?
Can you read it? No?
That'll work. So my name is Mary Overbey, as I mentioned. I actually own a small business here in Springfield, Missouri, based out of Springfield, Missouri, servicing statewide. And one of my focus areas is ecosystem building, which is why I really do what I do. 3 years ago, I contracted with a CDFI, Community Development Financial Institution, called Justine PETERSEN, to become the loan officer to basically assist business owners throughout the entire loan process here in Southern Missouri. I basically go all the way over to Cape Girardeau and then all the way up to Kansas City. Justine PETERSEN is based out of St. Louis. They are the oldest CDFI microlender that was located here in Southwest Missouri. We were like the lone wolf for many years. And so it's really, really exciting for me as an ecosystem builder to now be able to coordinate and collaborate with the other 3 microlenders, and then additional microlenders like the city of Springfield or SBA, OSB, and West Plains. There's some in Joplin. They're all around, but like when you're looking at SBA approved microlenders, very excited to have more here. A lot of what I do, I help people through the loan process. I do a lot of communication with the SBDCs and help determine what microlender is the best for them, or if the lender is the best for them. Justine PETERSEN, as I mentioned, is the oldest one here. Credit building is one of the key components for Justine PETERSEN. Just as with New Growth, we do not have a credit bottom line. However, you may not get a business loan to begin with. We may work on a credit building loan. I do that with a lot of clients where we're really working on maybe paying off some of those collections. That's really one of our strong suits. We can do loans under $3,000 with no collateral. which is often a really nice opportunity for people who don't have collateral quite yet, but need to get into a better position. Our interest rates go from 7.75 to 9.5% for our SBA and USDA loans. However, we do have a higher risk category that could go up to 20%. Women will never go over 12% because of a Tory Burch Foundation fund that Justine PETERSEN has. But others can go up to that. And a lot of that, I typically am not doing those loans unless they're going to be refinanced. So sometimes I'm collaborating with other micro lenders. Maybe there's a federal debt, student loans that need to be paid off, child support debt that's on your credit report that has to be paid off before you can get into a better loan and refinance at higher interest rate. They can go up to 7 years. Most of us are going up to 7 years. We do have a higher loan fund called Community Advantage, which is an SBA loan fund that can go up to 150,000 and go all the way out to 10 years as well. Most of us as microlenders, I don't think any of us have any prepayment penalties. We get that a lot. So as we mentioned, we're really trying to get people into bank lending. And so we want you to be able to go to that bank or refinance with us without any kind of penalty or additional payment. We do service Missouri statewide. So if you're not in my specific area, there are other micro lenders into Illinois, into Kansas, loan officers that can help you. So I think that's it. Krishin, did I do okay? I didn't get the cutoff.
You did good this time. Thank you. So we've been watching the chat. There's not a lot of questions. I think we've got them all. It's 2:48, gives us 10 minutes left. So I think I'll just kind of do some, I want to do some round robining, or maybe ask each one of you a couple rapid fire questions here. If we get some more in chat, we'll go from there. So if you guys, if the panelists will please unmute your mics, and you guys can answer this in whatever order you feel, or maybe if you just want to keep the same order, Patty, John, Mark, Mary. Patty, how do people apply with New Growth?
A phone call, email, similar to Mark Nelson, we want to talk with you. We have information about our loans and our technical assistance on our website, newgrowthmo.org, and that contact info. So yeah, call, email, and we go from there.
John, you're going to have to take yourself off mute, sir.
Yes, very similar approach to both Mark and Patty. We would love to have a phone call up front. Once the person starts applying, we have a secure online platform where different documents can be filled out or uploaded. So it's as quick as possible. But we definitely prefer a quick kind of touch base session before the person gets started.
Mark?
Well, like I said before, we prefer a phone call. We do have an application online that can be filled out, but it needs to be emailed back to us. You can't actually fill it out on the website.
Email or fax, right?
Email it back, yes. But it's, anyway, we don't want to send you there first. We want to talk to you before we get the application, but that's not the way it works usually.
Mary?
So there are a couple of different ways. You can email me directly if you're a lender. I like to have a connection email that allows you as a lender to stay connected to your client, so the client knows that you are still involved in the process. A conversation with me before that is great. Business owners can email me directly as well to get started with the process. And then also they can go onto JustinePetersen.org and start filling out an application. Depending on their location, they may get assigned to me, they may get assigned to another counselor. I'm a little bit different than the other ones, I think, in that I require a phone call if you're my client, because a lot of times I find out that clients don't necessarily they may not be ready for a loan. They may not know how much they need, or they may need a different amount. We discuss collateral. We discuss different options. I'm very much an educator. So I actually will require any of my lending clients to communicate with me. That's different, Justine PETERSEN wide. I don't know if they necessarily do that. That's me personally. But that's just the kind of person I am. So I'm a pain in the ass, Christian. But it helps in the end. So, but yeah, you can email me. I really suck at answering phone calls. You can also schedule directly on my calendar. Christian knows this. He's like, yeah, don't try to call her. You can also schedule directly on my calendar, and that's the only way you'll get me on the phone, bottom line.
All right, so we got both a couple of questions here, and it's very relevant to some of the things that we heard from the lenders. When you come in, you want to make a good impression on your lender. That goes for whether you're going to a microlender or a banker. And some of the things that you can do is know how much you want to borrow, have answers to some of the basic questions they're going to ask you so that your conversation goes well. So Katie, help me with this next question. We saw it in chat. Talk to me about the Small Business Development Center. They have Sedalia here in Springfield and in Joplin. There's 3 of them here that can help you answer some of these questions, get a rough business plan together, get an idea of what these lenders are going to ask you. I know in a lot of cases, Mary does communicate with the small business development centers. So they have an ongoing relationship with her. They know what questions she's going to ask. And these resources are available to you, again, at little to no cost.
And Christian, can I just point out real quick that it's not just me that they have that relationship with. They've actually got a great relationship with Mark, with Patty, with John. We're working on that because they're both new. But
yes,
the SBDCs and scores really collaborate very closely with all of us. But they do know what's going on. But I just wanted to point out the whole gamut.
Yeah.
And the New Growth Women's Business Center is an SBA partner in that rural area, working with all of those partners too.
And then when you're working with John, if you're up closer to the Kansas City area, they have been working with the Kansas City based, Sedalia, Kansas City, that works both the Kansas and the Missouri sidelines. He's got relationships with WBCs and John, I don't even know, you've got a whole list of partners you guys have been working with for forever.
And so because this is a virtual, we're in a virtual setting, there might be people from around the country. These small business development centers are located across the country, and you can find them. And I'm hoping Katie can put a link in the chat for me on that one.
I'll do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything on that?
Can I follow up on Karina's here? So as a microlender, when I get people that come to me that really don't know how much they need, or they're not really sure about financials, I'm referring them out to either a score mentor or to the SBDCs or to the WBCs to get prepared. And sometimes people will come to me, and if they come to me, and the same goes for lenders, if you've already worked with an SBDC person or a mentor or a WBC, if they come to me and say, here's how much I need to borrow, and here's my cash flow, I am much more willing to like take that loan to my underwriters, because I know they're working with those, and like the other micro lenders can talk on that as well. But if you are not familiar with like that resource, we definitely, and if you are not good, we're sending you back to them. Like, we're not going to give you money until you really know what you need. And
know what's a good idea, because lending, sometimes people borrow money that they shouldn't. And that's, we want to make sure that you've considered everything before you go in and borrow something. These folks are not here to, like I said, they work for not-for-profits that are mission-based. So, they do not want to put you in a worse position than, you probably already are. One of the ways you can prevent that is by going to the SBDC and getting free counseling to kind of flush out your business plan and have somebody help you with some of the questions that you might have. Not only are you better prepared to speak to a lender, but you're better positioned to get a good answer.
Well,
But-
and you said SBDC, but also the WBC, they do the exact same thing. And just because they're a women's business center, I've actually had clients come to me and say, oh my God, they do capital, but it's only for women. And that's not accurate. I think Patty can attest to that. It's a marketing issue and it's SBA's fault. But the SBC and the veterans, that biz score, all of those can help you with that. So-
At no cost. Those services are available to you. Okay, with that, it's 2:56. Katie, are there any other questions in the chat?
I don't see any additional questions. So if you've got those last minute questions, now is the time to add them. Just got a moment
I
left.
did see
Last
one
call.
about paperwork. Someone asked about that, and just quickly, I'm sure it's maybe the same across the board. We have a checklist and we'll help people identify all those things they need to submit. And then some things like collateral, depending on these conversations, you will have to get additional information based on what we work collateral wise on if it's required. So anyway, there's a checklist generally, and maybe anybody else might add to that.
Patty, actually, I think that's a good point, is collateral, because that seems to be one of the biggest issues that we face is collateral, because people are often under collateralized. Does anybody have anything they want to say about collateral? I know typically as a microlender, we like something that we can put our name on. So either a vehicle that's paid off or home equity. We will do UCC filings for business assets. But does anybody have anything they want to say on collateral? Because that tends to be a big stopping point and question mark, especially for new businesses. We will take personal collateral versus business collateral. A lot of people just think of, what do I have with my business? But because we are working with a lot of startups, we're
Well, that would be-
oftentimes helping purchase collateral. So that collateral that we're helping fund to purchase will then be the collateral for the loan.
That would
Anybody-
be kind of the importance of that call, right, before the application. So, you have that consultation with your clients and, everybody kind of knows where they're at before they start filling out paperwork, right?
Yeah, and we're all different. So the important thing is that all four of us now, because we collaboratively work to see where we can help put people, like if we're not able to help somebody. So I get loan clients in the Springfield area, which is where I'm located, but my cap on SBA funding at the 8.5% is 10,000. If I can't go over that, I'm referring them out, Springfield-based clients, if you're not USDA eligible. So knowing that you may start with one of us, and I do this a lot where I'm taking those calls and then fielding them out. But you're welcome to contact any of us or all of us to see which lender is the best for you and has the best product and the best rate. I mean, that's why we're doing stuff like this, is so that you know that you have more than one resource now.
Always good advice to contact more than one provider of any resource, right?
Same as if I'm sending a client to lenders, I tell them to interview the lenders. What can you do for me as a business owner? Same for us as microlenders. Who can give me the best option? Who's going to be there and help me?
Who fits my situation the best?
Yes. It's
Very
probably
good.
Mark. He's got that flat line interest rate. That's just beautiful.
Okay, if there's no other questions, it's 3 o'clock, so that ends our time.
Oh, Katie,
Mhm.
you just
We've got a person who wants to
world.
be a volunteer, so if you will put that link again in the chat. Katie, do you have any closing remarks?
Oh, yep. Just if you would check out SCORE's website, our local chapter website is swmissouri.score.org. That's where you can request a mentor. You can see all of our upcoming workshops and you can get access to those SCORE resources.
Or register
that
as
we
a
talked about.
volunteer.
Or register as a volunteer. And Ivana will reach out to you. Mary or I will reach out to you. Thank you for asking about that. Okay, well, thank you, everybody. Krishin, thank you so much for taking the lead today. Mary, Patty, John, Mark, we really appreciate your time and your expertise. We'll see you all next time.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to the
Patty.
panelists.
For coordinating. You're amazing. Thank you, Score.